What's up, my straw hats? We're going to the desert today with Alabasta arc of One Piece. I'm your person who knows about everything, Annie.
And I'm the one who's been scared to do this episode because even though I just saw it like last month, I don't remember much. I remember it's a good arc. Minty.
And this is FunUntitled, where we serve every podcast with an FU. One Piece is a long-ass series, so we're here to tell you what happens in One Piece, and we'll kind of tell you why that was good.
Because we love One Piece more than anything else. Even though we haven't been very good at keeping up with it, it has been a long series.
Man, y'all, it's been 1,000 chapters. Give us some slack. Don't gatekeep us out of here.
I think it's just because One Piece started during a time when anime wasn't very strong in like Western cultures. A lot of outside the series, like political, bureaucratic stuff, made it hard to follow One Piece. So you had to be like a true fan, and we were like really young when we started watching One Piece. But anyways.
But I will say, when we was little, Alabasta arc was at its peak, because I think that was like one of the full arcs that 4Kids covered, and then they went kind of into Skypiea. Then I think that's when they decided, hey, One Piece is not for kids. Let's drop it. Let's cut our losses. So we know a lot about certain Alabasta scenes. Like, it will be burned into my memory how there was a dog who shot bombs out of his mouth.
That's the scene?
Okay, what childhood memory do you have of Alabasta?
Bon Clay.
That's a lie. There's no way you knew what a gay man was at that age.
I didn't know what a gay man was. I was just exposed to a gay man.
So let's get to it. To cut off Alabasta arc, last time we saw a One Piece crew, they was running away from Lowe's Town, aka Goldie's Roger's hometown where he got executed. They said hi to Luffy's dad for a bit. They said bye to Smoker, and they're going to Reverse Mountain, where they have to go up a waterfall to get to the Grand Line.
Yeah, so when we say Alabasta arc, it's like the official name for like everything from Reverse Mountain to Alabasta. Which, in a sense, they are kind of all related, except maybe not Reverse Mountain, but they didn't want to put that in the East Blue arc.
Yeah, but to be fair, it is a totally new section of One Piece, so I get why they would divide like that.
Sure. Yeah, so Reverse Mountain is the only way to get from one of the East, North, South, West Blues into the Grand Line, and involves going like a roller coaster of a water slide.
By the way, y'all, if you're a casual fan of One Piece, do not look up the globe of One Piece. It is so gosh darn confusing.
I am still confused.
But it's okay, because we don't need to look at the globe. We just gotta know there's an old man with a whale near Reverse Mountain to greet them.
Here's where you meet Laboon!
And this will not pay off for like years, because if you know anything about One Piece, just know he is the master of foreshadowing. And when I think something's gonna be cool, I'm excited to tell you about it right at the spot. Not Oda. He will wait 10 years before it pays off.
Now, do you think it's like an afterthought, or that's always been the plan?
Oh, I guess so, huh? It's like, reverse storytelling. We're like, oh yeah, it'd be cool if this guy was yada yada.
Because what they did with Laboon, it could have been anyone they did that to.
Yeah, basically Laboon, he was a baby whale, I believe from the North Blue, and he was following this pirate ship, but then he couldn't go up the Reverse Mountain because it was too dangerous, so they left Laboon with the old lighthouse keeper who lives at the base of Reverse Mountain, but the crew was like, hey, we tight, we'll come back as soon as we finish doing the Grand Line. 50 years later, they never came back, and the old lighthouse keeper Crocus knows they dead.
I think Reverse Mountain is a very good start to the Alabasta arc anyways, even though, doesn't relate to the Alabasta country. But it's just because the whole point is to get into the Grand Line, and you already see how weird this is. Because not only are people dead in the Grand Line, the way you meet Laboon, doesn't the ship get swallowed?
Oh yeah, by the way.
Yes, and then they're almost in like a whole new world with like the ocean and the sky and
it was Crocus on an island.
Yeah, I was gonna say Kama Island. They're like this random island with a single house in the middle of nowhere. And then they get out and it's like, wait, are they in a robot? Because there's like pipings and like metal. And it's like, what is going on? Like, this is the beginning of Grand Line.
So yeah, you meet this robot whale who's straight out from Pinocchio.
Laboon!
and it has a man living in him. It turns out the man has to reinforce the whale from the inside because the whale keeps charging at the mountain, hurting himself to try find his old pirate crew. It's very sad.
Does that mean when he was small, he was too young to go? Then when he was old enough to go, he was too big to go?
No, I think no matter what, you couldn't bring that whale up there. You have to be born in the Grand Line. Like, if you go to the Grand Line, there's oceans made of fire. So no matter what, the whale could not make it up there.
Oh god, Laboon!
But other than sobbing over the boom that won't pay off for a while, you do meet Miss Wednesday and Mr. Nine. This is the first time you see them.
That's right, they also got swallowed up.
They technically got swallowed up. They're trying to kill the whale to eat him. Because their job was to get food, and they ain't great, so they didn't have money for food.
That's really hardcore for when you really do figure out who they are. So, they kidnapped Wednesday at 9.
Well, not technically. The boat got destroyed, so they were like begging them to take them with them.
You think they wanted to?
I forget why. I think like Luffy was like, yeah, why not? As he does.
Yeah, his laissez-faire attitude.
Never let Luffy run the government. He'll crash the economy to the ground.
So Vivi and Nine takes them to Whiskey Peak, which this is actually one of the arcs that really stuck out in my mind because this whole like, oh, the Straw Hat crew and they're partying with people and they're having like super lot of fun.
Real fast, I do want to say the setup of the town was interesting because it was people who love seeing pirates because they're like, oh, only pirates enter the Grand Line, so we're used to having pirates as tourists. But then it kind of gets shot down.
Yeah, because they're part of the Baroque work.
Yes, it turns out that Miss Wednesday and Mr. Nine was part of an organization called Baroque Works, and that they kind of like control all that part of the ocean under like a crime syndicate.
Which is crazy. The Grand Line is like a battlefield of monsters, and to have control of any territory is pretty high level, which actually you do find out there's a reason for that too.
It's very funny because, so they're in a town, they're all trying to kill the Straw Hats because they all work for Baroque Works, but, you know, Luffy can make easy work of them. So that's why Luffy has to be pitted against Zolo, because Luffy's like, oh, these people are nice, and Zolo's like, no, you asshole, they're all bounty hunters. Luffy, I don't believe you because I'm an idiot.
That's why I love this scene. It's so fantastic. And I love that Nami is like, hello, I can drink with anyone. I'm pretending to be drunk so I can go rob people. Doesn't work out too well because they're not like, you know.
So yeah, so you also get to meet Mr. 8 and Miss Monday, so you kind of know how the system works in Baroque Works. There's numbers and they have partners that's named after holidays or weekdays.
in these cases.
Yeah, the weaker ones get weekdays. The higher up, they get the holidays. And they stand no chance against the Straw Hats because they're such low numbers. So that's why Mr. 8 and Mr. 9 can't take it down. So Mr. 5 gotta come. Oh god, his powers.
Boogie bombs!
He ate the bomb fruit, so any part of his body can turn into a bomb. So he shows his boogers. I always thought his partner Miss Valentine's Day was hot though.
Oh, she's like the cutest with like a lemon themed outfit because it's so like not cliche for someone named Miss Valentine.
I think she had something called the kilo fruit, so that way she could change weight of her body to be like super light or super heavy.
Yeah, that was also very cute. I think that was the first time we've ever seen that. It's not the most unique power at this point, but it's cute, and she's got the umbrella.
I think it's interesting because I think this is when I first start seeing people with devil fruits other than Luffy.
That's true.
So these are pretty great contenders to be your first devil fruits. And then they come and you think they're gonna help Mr. 8 and Mr. 9, but twist!
Like a lemon twist.
Shut up. They're actually here for Miss Wednesday because they know she's actually the princess of Alabasta. And you know Nami's eavesdropping this.
And Mr. A is Igaram, Vivi's butler?
And manslave?
Babysitter?
Dude, it's bro. And then but what's really nice is that their partners, Mr. 9 and Miss Monday, didn't know that she was royalty who just infiltrated Baroque Works to try expose their leader, because no one knows their leader, Mr. Zero. I should have said lower numbers is actually stronger.
Igaram is stronger than Mr. Nine?
I know, weird, right? So, but they are such close friends with Igaram and Vivi, they're just like, yeah, we'll help you escape from the Boogerman. And then you see Mr. Five and Miss Valentine try to hunt down Vivi, and then Vivi kind of makes a deal with Nami in passing, because Nami's like, hey, you're a princess, right? So that means you have a lot of money? And she's like, I can give you all the money I have. He's like, alright, cool. Hey, Zolo, you owe me like $10. Go defeat these guys.
Oh, for his 3 swords, yeah?
Yeah, because he had to borrow money to buy those swords.
Oh, Zolo, you shouldn't have broken your first 3. Although I think these new 3 are doing very well for him.
Gosh, I could never tell you when Zolo got his new swords.
He bought them at Logtown.
No, like throughout the whole series.
Oh.
Because in the 1,000 chapters, I don't think he has the OG 3 swords at the end.
Really? Because I know 2 of them broke, so he bought the 2 at Logtown. And one of them he still had, and that's the one Tashigi wants.
Oh.
I believe.
Maybe. I don't know. Like I said, I can't tell you. So anyways, they defeat the 5 and Miss Valentine's Day. But then, the unlucky duo, Friday the 13th and... I forget those numbers. I think Mr. 13.
I think it's Mr. 13 and Miss Friday.
Okay. They are little...
Oh, the connections.
They're these little animals who the only thing they do is, it seems like they just find enemies, draw them, and then take it back to Mr. Zero that no one knows.
Except these 2 animals, which is a sea otter and a vulture.
And actually, in one of the One Piece covers in the manga, they do sell out their comrades for food to the Marines.
Hey, if you don't got a number in your name, yeah. Didn't they call them billionaires?
The ones who went...
Or billions.
Yeah, if you don't have a number, you're billions. You want to try to get it into the millions, and then you want to get to the top 10.
Ooh. Oh, shit.
There's a scene in Alabasta. We're kind of jumping ahead, but that's fine because no one gives a shit. Where Mr. 5 got captured, I believe. Not Mr. 5. We just talked about Mr. 5. Mr. What his face? He had a high number. He got captured by the Marines, and when the millions came to save him, they shot him instead, so that way someone else could take his role, and they all moved up one number.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah. So Baroque works, there's no loyalty in this program. There's all one for all. And Vivi's like, oh, I need you guys to help me to bring down Mr. Zero. And Luffy's like, who's Mr. Zero? It's like, I can't tell you that Mr. Zero is one of those 7 warlords or else your life will be in danger. And Nami's like, you fucking idiot. So now the whole One Piece crew, well, I guess only Nami, Zolo, and Luffy, who was involved in the fighting, is now under the radar because Mr. 13 went and told Crocodile that they know his true identity.
Man, One Piece is a complicated, but when you watch it all makes sense. Like you said, Oda's a master of foreshadowing. It all makes sense in the end.
And I just want to say, the warlords, that's an example of how Oda makes really great systems, because the warlords are the 7 strongest pirates that's under the military control. So the military lets them do whatever they want as long as they come to help the military. I guess the Navy, whenever the Navy calls for them.
To be more specific, because I don't think there is a military, I think it's just the Navy.
Yeah, because it's like underwater pirate.
You know, I wonder then, does Mr. 9 and Miss Monday choosing to team up with the same partners is just another way of Oda showing the relationships in this gang is very shallow and weak?
Probably.
Foreshadow. No, not foreshadow, just storytelling.
And I think, I cannot quote you on this, I think Robin came at this point. Robin is Miss Sunday of Crocodile, and I think she blows up Igaram.
I think you're... Wait a second, how would she blow him up?
Because if I remember correctly, Igaram dresses up as Vivi and says, you guys go, I'll buy you some time because they'll probably be sending more people this way.
Right.
And then that's when they're escaping, they met Robin, and Robin's like, fuck your friend. And then Igaram's ship blew up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you kind of know, she does this thing. We don't know till later. We're like,
foreshadow.
She can disarm her enemies really fast, and she can blow up a ship. That's unrelated to her powers, but she did it. And then you can tell that Miss Sunday, the partner of Mr. Zero, is super strong.
So now the Straw Hat crew is running away from Baroque Works, who is working under a very powerful warlord and is going towards them with the princess of Alabasta.
Turns out she doesn't have that much money, by the way. It's a poor country. Nami is sad, but it's okay because there's strong lesbian vibes.
We ship Nami and Vivi.
We ship them.
They're so cute.
And then on the journey, they're going to Alabasta. Now, on the Grand Line, you need a compass to tell you how to get to a certain island because you can get lost in the Grand Line easily. So they're just following the Alabasta compass to go straight to Alabasta. And then they get into Little Garden.
An island on the way. An island of giants.
Little Garden World, I don't think it's too important. It was just kind of there to show you someone named Mr. 3 and Miss April Fools. Well, he was a guy who ate the wax fruit, so he can make anything out of wax. So he made like a giant candle thing. He can make you into wax. And it shows like how dirty he is because there are 2 giants on Little Garden. It's called irony, folks.
It is!
Yes.
Oh my god!
So
It wasn't an island for giants. Everything just looked giant.
there was little to only the giants on this island.
Did they name it Little Garden?
Maybe, because if I remember correctly, so this is an island full of dinosaurs and prehistoric things. Again, each island totally whack on the Grand Line.
Maybe it is an island of giant dinosaurs.
And I'm not sure if this was in the manga, but in the anime, so they both caught 2 really big fish. And they've been fighting for like 100 years who caught the bigger fish, to the point where they don't even remember why they were fighting. And soon that whole island just became the battleground.
It's like Romeo and Juliet if they were the ones to start the feud between the Capulets and the Montagues.
Jesus.
That's a love story of the ages.
So you kind of just see Luffy and Usopp fanboying over these giants because the giants are like, we're men. We do everything by pride and honor.
Oh, so cute. So cute.
And then Mr. 3, he wants their bounties, I believe, because 100 years ago they were strong pirates until they gave up the pirate life to be assholes.
Oh, rivals.
Rivals, okay.
Of a fishing competition.
And so he ruined the match by, I believe he blew up one person's face, so that way he was already like really injured. And then during the fight, I think he put wax on his foot because he wants these 2 giants bounties, but he can't take them both down at the same time. So he's gonna make A kill B. I forget which one's Dory and which one's Froggy.
The one with the long beard dies first.
And Luffy and Usopp are pissed. And then Mr. 3's like, alright, now that I got the giants out of the way, I will deal with the Straw Hats and Vivi. Which is another hint that he doesn't really care about the organization if he's tending to a bounty first.
Yeah, I think he totally does all of this off the radar.
Oh, does he? I thought they sent him over, and that's why he's like, I can't go back to Baroque Works now because they're gonna send people to hunt me down and kill me because I failed this.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, later on they'll send, spoiler, Luffy and the gang defeats Mr. 3. So they send Mr. 2 to kill Mr. 3. But that's how the Straw Hat crew runs into Mr. 2, which is the most gayest, flamboyant man in One Piece.
Mr. Bon Clay!
Okama my way. I forget what Okama means. I think that means trans or drag.
Something like that, yeah.
That's his catchphrase. I'm trans, basically. But it's very dangerous that he met these guys at this point because Mr. 2 ate the clone fruit, so he can take anyone's appearance that he's touched with his hand. So he took all the One Piece crew except for Sanji's appearance.
Oh my, and there's also, okay, because there's that, and then the fact that Mr. 3 also never saw Sanji.
Oh yeah.
So Oda wrote it in a way where, and this all comes into a head too, I can't
It's because the prince, because now the Mr.'s crocodile. I got my C words confused. Crocodile thinks the One Piece crew is just this amount of people. He doesn't know about Sanji and someone else later.
Yeah.
And then Sanji and Blank use this for advantage later.
Yeah. Oh god, the writing.
That's the thing. If you want to say, oh, was this always planned? Or did Oda kind of be like, oh, this works? Well, no. He plans like everything.
A lot of it is clearly planned. There's some things you could say as after writing, but I do think this dude knows his story from beginning to end.
Yeah, like, you think he doesn't plan this out because it's so whimsical, but there's a character, I won't say his name, but he introduced the character and always had the intention of him dying.
What?
Yeah, so it's like, maybe he does plan things out.
Frickin', show him more then.
Anyway, so we finished Little Garden, and as they leave Little Garden, it turns out that Nami, she got a disease from Little Garden because she had like an ancient prehistoric disease that they couldn't really find a cure for. So they had to stop on the nearest island that wasn't on the compass in order to find her a doctor.
Drum roll! To Drum Island! Well, actually, before Drum Island, they actually meet the king of Drum Island, Wapo,
Mapo.
on a ship, and they totally just blast that guy away.
To be fair, okay, so
They didn't know.
the One Piece formula, we go to an island, we find a group of people, we find the world, we were enchanted by them, and we find out there's one guy in power who's like taking advantage of these people somehow.
Being an asshole.
But Drum Island was kind of the weakest fight because they weren't emphasizing on the fight. I guess it was more in the emotional trauma, because the fight against Wapol in like the final climactic fight was very to me.
That is true. Drum Island is not the strongest arc in any case. But the backstory.
Hey, they made a movie out of it.
Because the backstory is one of the most fucked up. So let's get into it. They need to find a doctor. But Wapo, being an asshole, I guess not kidnapped, but forced that all the doctors had to work for him because he's a fat piece of shit who eats a lot and probably has a lot of indigestion problems.
Please do not body shame Wapol. He ate the chow chow fruit and he is fat.
You don't have to be fat and have the chow chow fruit. But, so, the only doctor on the island is a witch. And that's what they call her. She's actually one of my favorite side characters of One Piece.
Oh, girl vibes.
One Piece makes very good elderly characters.
Okay, Oda's one of the few artists who actually answered like as many viewer questions as he can. So he said he likes designing old people because they're like so experienced.
Yeah, and he really uses this to his advantage, especially when it's like they live such long lives that it's interconnected with other people's lives, and you get to see those characters as kids, and it's like, damn.
But yeah, so there's no doctors on this island because basically, I forget what happened. The island was under attack and the King Wapo was like, well, me and my 500 doctors are going to leave now. Good luck with the attack. Not our problems. I think maybe Blackbeard came? I can't remember.
Blackbeard did come.
Yeah.
And beat Wapo, and they tried to leave, but then Blackbeard left, so then they came back. I also think they had to come back because the Straw Hat crew beat them up.
So then the citizens was like, this island has no name. It used to be Drum Island, but ever since our douchebag king left with literally all of our doctors, we have no name.
That's why it has a new name. Okay, but anyways.
What is the new name?
I'll get to that when we get to the end of it. It's pretty obvious.
Me?
No.
Oh, they didn't name it.
So, to find the witch, they have to team up with Dalton, he used to be the leader of the army under King Wapol, but when Wapol left, he's trying to repent for past action, just kind of goes around town helping people, kind of be like the new unofficial leader.
To be fair, most of his sins is of omission, so you can kind of forgive him for just standing back and let Wapol be an asshole. It's not like he did a crime that was unforgivable.
Yes. Okay, and then let's just simplify because there's a lot of going back and forth and missing Dr. Kureha.
Oh, real fast, I think this arc was supposed to be like, oh, this is when you liked Vivi. Because Nami got sick, and Vivi, she had a newspaper article of basically her country, Alabasta, is going down the shithole. And she has been saying constantly she needs to go back. But when Nami got sick, she was like, you know what? Yeah, it is important to go back to Alabasta. But we need a navigator, so we gotta heal her. And it's like, oh, that's nice.
That was cute. That's why we shipped them.
But yeah, there's a lot of going back and forth. You find out Kureha, she's a very unorthodox doctor who she doesn't get your permission to heal you. And she will take all your shit. But she's not a quack.
No, she's probably the best doctor. She's also, no one knows her age. How long has Kureha been on this earth, wandering with the living?
And so Kureha actually lives in Wapol's old castle. So it's the top of a very tall mountain that they used to have, like, I forget what you call those train cars.
Oh, like the ski lodging thingies?
Yeah, those things. They used to have that to go
Ski
on.
lift.
Ski lift, yeah. But then something happened to them. I think Wapol got rid of them so that way no one could use his castle.
Dr. Kureha found a way. Actually, she found a way because of an unorthodox assistant, Tony Chopper,
He's a reindeer.
who ate the human fruit. Human fruit.
So he can turn into a human and a freak, and it's funny, he got ostracized from his reindeer group because he had a blue nose, and then he tried to intermingle with the humans after eating the human fruit, and then he got, called a monster and shot at. Actually, with Chopper, this is the first time you get to see that the devil fruits comes in 3 different varieties, and Chopper has the animal fruit.
The Zoan fruit.
Because so far, you've only seen, fruits that deal with your body, that modifies it somehow, like turning it into a bomb, changing the weight, making it into rubber. But we see that people with zone fruits, they can turn either full of the human or, the species you're born with, or full of the devil fruit species, or a halfway point.
Yeah, Chopper gets many forms.
But right now, he only has 3 when we first meet him. I think it's the walking point. Well, that's his full reindeer form. He has the brain point, which is the halfway between human and reindeer. And then I think it's the power point, where it's full, human.
Man.
Well, technically, I say human, but he's very furry still. That ain't human.
So Chopper's trying to heal Nami, but Luffy wants to eat the reindeer. What do? You have to make the reindeer human, and Dr. Kureha knows that. So she's gonna explain to the One Piece crew Tony Chopper's sad past.
To be fair, she only explained it to Sanji and Nami, who, we forgot to say they all made it to the top. It was really fun and everything. And
yeah, it was really fun.
So, I don't know why. One Piece does this thing where Luffy never hears the past of people. And I don't understand why. I think it's because to show that even though he doesn't know all your trauma, he's still sympathetic.
He's a man of the present.
He fell asleep during Nami's past.
Yeah, the fuck? What?
But yeah, so Chopper's sad.
Chopper. Because, as we already said, Chopper was a reindeer who was excluded by reindeers, ate the human fruit, was excluded by humans, which was a real downer for this little reindeer boy. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, after being excluded from everyone, he meets the greatest doctor, in his opinion, Dr. Hiruluk. Dr. Hiruluk is a doctor who wants to help everyone, but has extremely unconventional means of doing so.
That doesn't work.
I mean, he's got good knowledge. I think his application of the knowledge is not too good.
Look, you can either have Kureha, who has all the knowledge but none of the people skill, or you can have Hiruluk, who has all the people skills but none of the knowledge.
Good people skills when your best friend is a reindeer boy.
I think he turned the kid green one.
But anyways, so they're like Back to the Future kind of a pair. A disgrace. No, I'm sorry. Anyway, the John Mulaney joke.
I think Chopper has to help Hiruluk, break into people's houses.
They need to help people. It's not like the sick are just dying on the streets.
And around this time, now this is a backstory, so this is in the past. This is when Rapul is gathering all the doctors. And this worries Dr. Hiruluk, because I know what you're thinking, but he's a doctor. He can just cover for them. He cannot, because
he's a crack.
He's dying.
What?
Of a disease.
Oh my god! Oh, he is dying!
So, what kind of doctor dies from a disease? Oh yeah, so he's dying. So he's asking Kureha, hey, can you watch Chopper? He's a great boy. He can be a great doctor. I can't do it because of my disease, And Kureha's like, fuck you.
That is what she says, verbatim.
So this is when Hiruluk, he doesn't want Chopper to watch him die. So he kind of threatens Chopper to leave. And Chopper's like, no, I don't. You're the only person who ever accepted me. So he shoots at him. And that's giving Chopper PTSD when the humans went after him. So Chopper left.
Aww.
So then he doesn't really understand why. And I think he tries to go back because he's trying to see if maybe the doctor's in a better mood. And he hears Hiruluk talking to Kureha about how Hiruluk is dying. So Chopper's like, oh no, that's why he scared me away. So he ran all the way back to Dr. Hiruluk's office to try to look into the books. And if you look at Hiro's office, he has like a bunch of pirate flags because he thinks being a pirate is awesome because being a pirate means you're free. So like he's looking at all these flags, he's looking through all the medical books, and then he finds it. He finds the mushroom that can save Dr. Hiro's life, but it's in a really dangerous part of the woods, and he's gonna have to fight his old reindeer friends in order to get this mushroom that can cure him. So Chopper, he does all this shebang bang, he loses all his antlers because he was like headbutting other reindeers and he fell from a cliff. And he comes back to Dr. Hiro, battered and beaten to shit.
And this is a baby reindeer boy. It's like a 6-year-old going out into the wild doing all this shit.
And Dr. Hiro, oh, I know that mushroom. You got this for me as a treat? And then he eats the mushroom. And he's like, thanks, Chopper. I'm gonna go see Wapol now on a unrelated note now.
Now that I'm healed, I can be a doctor under Wapol.
And then Kuenha comes and is like, hey, where's Hirulik? And Chopper's like, oh, yeah, I gave him one of these mushrooms and he's okay now. It's like, you fucking idiots! That's a poisonous mushroom. That's the most poisonous mushroom. It's like, no, in the book, there's a skull and crossbone on this mushroom, just like the pirate flags.
Who taught you to read? No one? I thought so. Because he didn't know how to read until Kuenha taught him.
And Kuenha's like, you idiot, that means it's poisonous. He's probably doing something stupid at Wapol. And he was doing something stupid. Because he was like, don't worry, Chopper, I will not let your mushroom kill me.
Depends on the perspective if this was stupid or not, though.
I mean, did it result in anything of him basically going to Wapol and trying to blow the man up?
He was trying to save the people of Drum Island.
I know, but blowing yourself up was not the answer.
If you're gonna die anyways.
And then Chopper kind of comes, being like, hey dog, don't do anything oh, he's dead. And he tries to charge after Wapol, but then Dalton, who's currently working for Wapol, is like, no, I ate the bulbul fruit. I think that's what he ate.
Something.
Ox?
I know how you feel. I too am half man, half four-legged beast.
But you gotta get out of here, bro. You can't defeat Wapol right now. Just go off and be a doctor.
Be a witch.
And that's the most heart-crushing scene where Chopper goes back to Kuenha and he's raving Hirok's old Jolly Roger and being like, teach me how to be a doctor. I want to start saving people.
It's so cute, but so sad.
And that's how you're like, alright, Chopper, you get in the car. You belong to us now.
We won't eat the reindeer. We'll save the reindeer.
And then Wapol comes and it's like, hey, is that a fucking Jolly Roger of an old doctor guy on top of my castle? I'm gonna bust it down. And that's where Luffy's number one skill comes in of, hey, this is valuable to someone. I'm gonna protect it. I don't know why.
Because he has an item of value too.
Oh, because it's Straw Hat.
And so when someone else has an item of value, he's like, I get it, bro. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna protect it.
And then
that's so amazing. Now I'm gonna spend the rest of the episode thinking what else does it happen, but not sharing it with anyone because it'd probably be a spoiler.
So they defeat what?
Sorry, that was another one I thought about. But it's a spoiler.
They defeat Wapol, and then Kuenha kind of, what's that? I'm trying to find this phrase. Like sends off Chopper to join the One Piece gang with a brilliant cherry blossom fireworks.
Oh, yeah, because they live on a snow island, so there's no way cherry blossoms could ever grow. So she sends a powder, which is all Hiruluk's.
Yeah, because his whole thing was he wanted to be a pirate ever since he went to an island and saw cherry blossoms. And he spent like his whole life trying to recreate cherry blossoms on his hometown.
So the way he does that is that the powder goes in the air and it makes the snow pink. So it looks like cherry blossoms are falling down.
It's kind of weird how Chopper and Robin both have cherry blossom theme.
They do.
But we'll get into that later. So yeah, and then Chopper is part of the team now.
And Dalton becomes king of Cherry Blossom Island.
Is that the name?
Yeah.
Oh wow. So cute.
It's very cute.
We finally make it to Alabasta. Goddamn, 40 minutes in.
It's gonna be cut down, so it's probably 35 minutes in. But it took us 40 minutes in real life. It took us an hour to get to this point.
But yeah, well, there's a lot of things that happen in Alabasta, so we'll try cut it to just the key points.
You get to Alabasta Island, and you meet, I was gonna say the turtle seals.
I mean, they do beat the turtle seals.
So the whole point is Alabasta is this giant country, and they have to get to the center of the country where her father, King Cobra, is, because Crocodile has come to Alabasta as a friend, but in actuality, he was using something called
Boogie powder.
boogie powder, which causes the area to rain. And in a desert, that's very good. However, boogie powder has a cost. To make one area rain means to take rain from somewhere else. Because it's kind of like it's gathering the rain clouds from a different area to where it is, which causes massive droughts. So that's why this boogie powder is illegal, clearly, because it's screwing up, ecological environments.
Basically, the whole country is like dying of a drought, and only the capital has rain. So that's why, like, the people, they're dying because they can't get food to grow. So they're rioting up against the king because they're like, what the fuck is going on? We know you have boogie powder somewhere. And then Cobra's like, it was all a misunderstanding. I have no idea where that came from. Which he didn't.
Yeah, again, Crocodile, the animal names.
I know, it's like, you get them confused.
So basically, that's why the One Piece crew has to chuck it over there.
Many filler episodes.
I know, the filler episode is like, I'm like trying to remember, wait, that's filler.
Okay, so they make it to the port town. I guess they have water because they're near the ocean, so they're okay. And that's where you run into Smoker, who you first see in Lost Town, but you also meet someone else. You get to meet Luffy's brother.
Which I don't think you know at that point.
No, you do.
Oh, you're right, yeah, because you see Smoker, Ace, and Luffy at like almost the same time, and Luffy's like, whoa, dude! And Ace is like, yeah, I'm looking for Blackbeard, and I just came here.
Yeah, what's up, bro? Hey, I left a message back at Drum Island because, like, to say if they ran into you, let them know, I'm looking for you. Did you get the message?
Didn't get it.
Fucked up, bro.
But I'm here.
Yeah, hey, guess what? I'm gonna show the audience that there's a fruit of basically just element.
Which is the third fruit. Is that the third fruit type?
I forget the names.
The animal, changing your own body.
And then elements.
Oh, okay.
I think the elements are the strongest one. That's why later on you find out that the top 3 brass of the Marines all have elements.
They do!
So you kind of knew Smoker had that kind of fruit, but you didn't really know those 3 different types. And I think Ace really solidified that, fire, element. In the anime, they make Ace travel with the group, but in the manga, he kind of just gives Luffy this piece of paper that will help Luffy find him later on in, like, several arcs. Foreshadow. And then he goes on his way to look back for Blackbeard. And, like we said, Blackbeard did attack Drum Island. That made Wapol leave.
So let's try simplify this, because there's a bit of a complication, because the group spreads out, they split up, Luffy's on his own, they come back together, they're all traveling, blah blah blah. The main thing to know is that the leader of the rebellion group that wants that reign is Vivi's old childhood friend named Koza.
Okay, every One Piece main character, they will have a heterosexual love interest. They won't say it explicitly, but Oda's like, they're there.
I don't know if...
Not everyone, but Usopp had Kaya, Vivi had,
Koza.
Zolo had his childhood friend that later on turned into Tashigi, whatever. And then, if you don't have a, like, childhood heteronormative friend, you will be given a love interest. Luffy got Boa Hancock, Sanji got something, and later on...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You spoiled Boa Hancock, but you don't want to talk about pudding?
I don't know.
Because they play such great roles in the series.
Shut up. So, yeah.
You didn't know her name.
No, shut up.
Is that why?
I knew her name. It's like a fucking dessert.
Yeah, but there are millions of desserts.
Anyways, so Koza's in charge of the Revolutionary Army. He used to love Cobra, but then, no water. You gotta fight for that water.
Koza thinks Cobra's trying to kill the people. Cobra doesn't know what the hell's going on. Crocodile is the mastermind.
Koza's dad is like, Koza, you must believe in the king. He loves his people. And Koza said, good luck in your dried ass town. Okay, so there's a lot. So to summarize, the One Piece crew, they make it to the port town. They want to find the rebel army to talk them out of fighting the king. So they're going to go to Koza's dad's town that the king basically gave them. Vivi's going to try to talk to Koza.
But they never actually meet up. And Luffy, a man of always going forward, is basically like, why don't we just fight Crocodile instead?
Yeah. Yeah, we know where he is, right? He's at Rain Base at his casino with a giant crocodile pyramid.
That sounds cool. Vivi's like, alright. It was actually very harsh moment, right? Isn't that when Luffy is basically like, I don't exactly know the exact words, but it's basically, let's stop fucking around and deal with the problem at hand, which is crocodile.
So they go to Rain Base and they run into Smoker again. Good old Smoker. And the group split up. And then, all you gotta know is that Vivi, Sanji, and Chopper, they split up from the main group, and the main group is chased by Smoker into the casino. Well, for some reason, they went to the VIP room and then straight into the pirate room, which was a trap.
An obvious trap, but hey, they're being chased by the Navy.
So the One Piece crew and Smoker is now captured by Crocodile, and Crocodile is like, look at me, I'm monologuing. And Vivi comes and is like, you have my friends. He's like, well, if you want your friends, which I trapped in this prison cell made out of prison sea stone that basically has the same property of the ocean. I think this is the first time we actually see the stone, by the way.
I do think so too.
And it's prevents anyone with devil fruits from using their powers because it's reminiscent of the ocean. Anyways, if you want them, you have to get this key. And I'm going to feed this key to my banana crocodile.
Fling!
And like, bye! I'm going to go to the capital now and ruin your life because right now we kidnapped the king. And Vivi's like, what? It's like, nothing. I didn't say anything. And Vivi's like, oh, I'm not going to fight this crocodile. There's like 20 of them. I'm going to go find Sanji. And Sanji's doing this thing where he's being a superhero named Mr. Prince. And he's like taking everyone down. Long story short, Sanji does come. He gets rid of all the crocodiles. And it turns out one of the crocodiles ate Mr. 3.
Because Mr. 3, you failed to kill the One Piece crew.
Yes. But they needed Mr. 3 because it turned out Crocodile never gave them the right key. So Mr. 3 had to make the right key out of his wax.
Whoa, the foreshadowing.
And then
the story to tell. The story planning of this series, because there's a specific reason for the power, there's a specific reason why he had to fail first, because Crocodile feeds him to the banana crocodiles.
Yes.
And then he's like, dude, I'm made out of wax. No crocodile's gonna want to eat me or digest me. And he gets spit out, and then he makes a fake key, and then this is a weird part where for some reason he's able to use his powers even though they're like underwater.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Anyways, yeah, that is weird how he used his wax fruit on the prison stone, whatever. A lot of people have issues with that scene because devil fruit users, if they eat a fruit, they will automatically sink in the water. But Crocodile comes back to make sure that they're dead, and instead he finds Mr. 3 floating with a note on his back, being like, fuck you.
He was floating. Why was that
They
floating?
explained that later on.
Do they?
He was as a tongue-in-cheek, of course he was on a piece of wood that no one could see. But yeah, so the One Piece crew is going back to the capital because they know that their king is in danger. But then Crocodile, he grabs Vivi the last minute and is like, no you don't. So Luffy, he releases the grass on Vivi and he goes and gets taken by Crocodile in her place.
And he loses.
This is the first time you ever see Luffy loses, and he is pretty much dead. He puts him in a sinkhole, he is dying, and he just goes underneath the quicksand, and Crocodile's like, okay, bye.
And then, an unusual face, I guess a usual face, you've seen her already, Robin comes and saves Luffy.
I think you first find out that Robin's kind of maybe morally ambivalent because she did technically kill Igaram when you first met her, and then she killed Pell, but then she saves Luffy.
And when you're a kid, you're just very confused because when you're a kid, you don't know what morally gray people mean. You're either good or you're bad. And what are you, Robin? What are you?
Turns out Robin's a giant nerd who's she's trying to use Crocodile to, put an end to her means, but that doesn't mean she agrees with what he's doing.
Again, the Baroque works is just made of shallow connections. There's no real loyalty, which you will see in a later arc, which is a fantastic arc and almost like a good parallelism to Alabasta. But we'll talk about that later.
By the way, we forgot to say this. The reason why Crocodile is so strong in Alabasta is because Alabasta is a desert country, and guess who ate the sand fruit?
Yeah, you think I would have said that earlier.
You see, I know Crocodile is this dude who's heartless and really powerful. He defeated Luffy. Because you cannot punch him. He's made out of sand.
So, Luffy finds his way back to the crew.
Well, we should talk about the crew first because they do some things in the capital first. So, they go to the capital and they find that the rest of the Baroque work is like guarding the exit. So they're like, oh shit, how do we get Vivi in without getting into a tussle? So they actually split up into like several groups. I think 3 groups.
Yeah, because I think there was like almost like a fighter and a non-fighter in each group.
Yeah, so they need to get inside this capital right now, because right now the rebel army is going to clash with the king's army, because shit went down, y'all. Because Mr. 2, if you remember, has the clone fruit, and he pretended to be the king, and he shot a child. And I think he crashed a ship somewhere. He did a lot of messed up shit, so everyone's mad at the king now. Oh, well, works. What they did, I think, if I remember correctly, they crashed a ship into a town. They pretended to be Cobra, who's like, who gives a shit? You guys are all peasants. I hate you all. I'm gonna shoot this child. And inside that ship was filled with weapons. So that way the rebel army stood a chance against the royal army.
Oh, shit.
I don't know why no one questioned that, but I guess that's how it be. And so, right now the rebel army is about to fight, so they have to get there ASAP. So they split into groups, and the rest of the Baroque that's there is Mr. 1, Mr. 2, and Mr. 4. I know you're saying, hey, we defeated Mr. 3. We should defeat Mr. 4 easily. And apparently, Mr. 3 only got his title Mr. 3 because he was bitching all the time, and Mr. 4 didn't give a shit.
Really?
Yeah, they said it like, they were like, oh, yeah, Mr. 3 got defeated. Who cares? We only gave him that title because we needed his powers and he wouldn't shut up.
Oh, he does have good powers.
He does wax. I mean, they broke the One Piece crew out. So, the rest of the Straw Hats minus Luffy split up into groups. They fight, Mr. 1, Mr. 2, Mr. 3. Go watch One Piece. They're really good fights. And then that's when Vivi, she goes off and tries to talk to Koza. But then inside the royal army and inside the rebel groups, they have members of Baroque works. They see Vivi and they always interfere to make sure Vivi can't talk to Koza. Like Vivi's like, hey, we didn't start fighting. We can talk now, Koza. And then someone from the royal army shoots at them. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? And it starts like fighting.
It's like Full Metal when Envy killed an Ishvalan kid.
Oh yeah.
It's exactly that, except that's all they did and it resulted in the worst civil war.
So Vivi eventually goes head to head with Cobra goes head to head with Crocodile, who has Cobra brutally nailed to the wall, by the way. And then that's when Luffy comes back and he's like, I'm ready for round 2, bitches. This time I know that I can hit you if I have water, because your water will condense the sand.
Oh god, and this goes into a 2-part fight too.
This does. I think he blows Luffy away, and then Luffy has to find his way back, and he finds Crocodile again, who's underground with Cobra, because it turns out Alabasta has a country secret.
The poneglyphs, which is ancient text on a huge stone cube that has the secrets of the Grand Line, but written in a language that no one can read, except Nico Robin.
Who's from a island full of researchers who knew that dead language. I think they kind of hinted that island was so dangerous because they knew the dead language, they blew up the island, so she's the only survivor.
And she's wanted.
Yes. So they want to use that cube to find an ultimate weapon. I think its name was Pluto.
Is that one Pluto? I think that one is Pluto.
Yes.
Or is the Water 7 arc involved with Pluto?
I think that one's Joy Boy.
Oh, how is it Pluto, Neptune, and Joy Boy?
I could be wrong, but that doesn't matter. We're in Alabasta. We'll figure it out in Water 7. But yeah, he has Robin to read the cube, and Robin's like, this doesn't say anything about the weapon. Just a cool history of Alabasta. Crocodile's like, yeah, I know you're lying to me, so I'm just gonna shank you. Shing!
Yeah, I don't know. Crocodile, you did all this and you still can't read it.
And then Cobra's like, damn, B, what the fuck? It did have it. She didn't say it. She's a bro. I hope she joins the One Piece crew later. And then that's when Luffy comes and has his final climactic battle against Crocodile. And meanwhile, the rest of the Straw Hats are doing the stupid subplot of finding a bomb in the town square.
I thought it was okay. It was just weird because it was they're 5 seconds away from the bomb. Then Vivi gets there. But then the bomb was gonna go off no matter what. And then Pal, who kind of died once already, comes and
comes back. Turns out Robin didn't kill anyone. She didn't kill Igaram. She didn't kill Pell, and she saved Luffy.
Are you keeping track, guys? Robin's a good guy, apparently. And she didn't talk about the poneglyph.
But yeah, basically Pell, he's like, I'm alive just to kill myself again.
Takes the bomb, it goes up, blows up.
Oh, and there's a heart-wrenching scene where Vivi's trying so hard to stop the fight, but then the talking to Koza didn't work, stopping the bomb didn't work. Pell, her caretaker from when she's a child, it's his bits are all over Alabasta, yet everyone's still fighting. So she's just screaming her throat out stop fighting! Just stop!
Yeah, I think there are many heart-wrenching moments in One Piece, especially when it involves a person talking to a group of people. This is probably the first of those kind.
I think Oda said that was his most emotional thing to draw.
Yeah, that's a great scene. And then it rains.
Yeah, somehow, don't ask me how, Luffy sends Crocodile flying through the air with a one giant punch, and that causes it to rain.
And then the rain was so shocking to everyone, they stopped fighting and they could hear Vivi's voice.
Yes, and Igaran comes and is like, hey, you know that child that, got shot? Wasn't the king. It was Mr. 2. If you want to know more about Mr. 2, again, read the book.
There's a lot about it. So, basically, I think at this point, Vivi kind of reveals the truth. Crocodile gets taken in by the Navy. I don't know if it's by Smoker. Oh, yeah, Smoker has to take him in, right?
Yeah, Takagi, Tashigi. I'm sorry, I don't know who Takagi is.
I don't know either.
Tashigi goes and say, hey, we're restricting your warlord status. And then we have that weird moment where, like, she's sending... Smoker's like, I don't want the fucking credit of catching Crocodile. And Tashigi's, like, crying her eyes out because they had to rely on pirates to serve justice.
Yeah, she hates pirates.
Because of her tragic backstory that we don't know.
Yeah, why haven't they gone over that? I feel like they make Tashigi important, but we don't know much about her.
I feel like maybe that's like the final arc material. Because, you know, she's gonna have to come back and get that sword from Zolo. And then that is the end of Alabasta. Oh, wait, there's one moment. So, we're with Vivi for like a lot of episodes. We're like, yeah, she's gonna join the crew.
Whiskey Peak, Little Garden, Drum Island.
And then, because she was in Baroque Works as an undercover agent for so long, she actually missed like her coming of age ceremony. So they're doing it right that day for some reason.
They've already wasted... She was dead for a long time. Over years.
Yeah.
So...
But then, like, the One Piece crew's like, hey, you go to that coronation or you join with us because we have to go now. There is Marines after us and navies.
Actually, they are called the Marines, yeah? It's not the Navy.
I don't know, man.
Damn you, military.
So the One Piece crew is, like, fighting out the Marines, like, trying to stall time for Vivi to decide. Does she want to be a princess or does she want to be a Straw Hat crew? And then we see her bailing on her coronation or her party, whatever. And she goes to the One Piece crew and just says, I love you all, but bye.
I was so shocked as a kid because I remember watching and I left for a bit just to put something away. And I thought, well, yeah, because Vivi's gonna join the pirate crew, obviously. Then when she says she's not, I think I dropped whatever I was doing and I ran back to the TV like, she doesn't join? What?
And the One Piece crew, they can't say anything to her because the Navy's watching. But she's like crying because she thinks they're mad that she didn't join. But then they all, like, in solidarity, they put their arm up and they show like this micro friendship they had to give each other till they know who was Mr. 2 and who was real. Which was a nice touch that it was for Mr. 2, but it made it into like a whole general thing that this is a sign that we're friends.
Foreshadow.
It's funny because before it was just a kind of a mic, but then Karu was like, oh, I'm Vivi's bird. Can I have the mic? Like, yeah, you can have the mic. This mic shows that we're friends. So then Vivi starts crying.
It's so sad. But they do get a new member, and it's Nico Robin, because if we didn't show you on the scoreboard, she's Straw Hat material. She does whatever she wants, and she's got a pretty cool power.
Which we never talked about, the Hana Hana fruit, or the Bloom Bloom fruit.
Yeah, which basically she can make multiples of a body part.
The correct phrasing is that she can make any of her body parts bloom where she wants it to go.
Yeah, that's why there's always these flower petals that comes out.
The Stowe Chapel's motif. And that was basically Alabasta. The next arc should be Skypiea.
Yeah, so now all the arcs should be more like Alabasta with like a huge overarching theme, storyline, villain. I mean, the East Blue had that, but they're very short. This is going to be more of what it is of like the group splitting up, the group's getting a bit big, there's a lot of components, it all comes together in the end. Alabasta is a great arc. I really love this arc.
What would you rank Alabasta out of 10?
I think 8.
Yeah, I'll give it an 8 too. It was a pretty good arc. It just got really complicated in some areas.
Okay, compared to other anime arcs, it's an 8. Maybe compared to other One Piece arc, it might be a 7.
Oh.
Still in that range, there is some really good arcs in One Piece. Especially in the New World.
We're not saying Alabasta's a bad arc. I mean, 8's pretty high. But there's no moments where you think about constantly. Unless you really like Vivi.
Yeah, I mean, besides the whole her screaming at the army, and of course I love the Bon Clay fight. I like the fight Zolo had with Mr. 1. Nami having a chance to fight is pretty cool. I think it's the
Yeah.
first time you see her fight with Temple Wand that Usopp made.
And then I like the chopper scene, but I don't really consider that part of the Alabasta arc, even though technically it is, because that wasn't technically in Alabasta. Like, if you have to consider all those other moments in part of the Alabasta arc, it gets messy.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of consider the Alabasta, the Drum Island, Little Garden, Wispy Peak, and Reverse Mountain all in separate things. They'd all have their own score. Drum Island.
But
That passed.
it's already long. Thanks for coming in with us to the end. And I hope you understand One Piece a little bit. You can either use this to know what the fuck One Piece is about, or kind of refresh your memory.
A very bad memory.
So, thanks.
Bye.